Welcome to the Recession Proof Investing series, where we have top experts sharing tips and strategies on creating lasting success and financial freedom. I'm Keisha Bailey, CEO of Profit Jumpstarter, and today I'm joined by the amazing Anthony and Cameron from the Infinite Wealth podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm super excited to have you both together. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Keisha.
You know, the pleasure's ours because I know you're doing this series, and so not everybody's making the cut. So we're honored to be part of your series.
Yes, the series only is sharing the tips from top experts like yourself. So it's amazing to have you here. Could you tell our audience a bit about your work and your background for both of you guys?
You want to go?
My name's Anthony Faso. I'm a self-proclaimed recovering CPA. I've been a CPA for over 20 years. And what I learned, particularly in the last recession we had, was typical financial advice was not working. And so that's when I went searching for alternatives, really more for myself. And that's where I found the infinite banking concept. And then that's the only thing we do now 100% of the time is teach people how to ideally create passive income, right? That's more than our monthly expenses. And we use that by combining the teachings of Robert Kiyosaki and using the infinite banking concept.
And I'm Cameron Christiansen. My history is briefly, I started out as a small business owner. I was an entrepreneur, and I was looking for alternatives or opportunities for me to save for retirement, and everything that was kind of presented to me, to be honest, just didn't make sense. It was essentially me putting my money away until I'm 60 years old and then coming back for it. And man, that never sat well with me. And so I didn't do anything. I sat on cash, and to be honest, I got overwhelmed and a little frustrated looking at what was out there. And I kind of came across the infinite banking strategy myself, and I started doing it. And then I started sharing it more or less out of an obligation to other business owners that I knew, and just kind of came into the industry that way. And so I've been advising for, over 10 years now. And Anthony and I have been partnered for the last 2. So
amazing stuff, guys. So last year has been challenging. So tell me about last year and COVID. How was that for yourself and your clients? I know it was challenging for a lot of persons, both financially, mentally, and also just physically from a health perspective.
Yeah, last year was a challenging year for a lot of people on many different levels, like you said. Fortunately for our clients we didn't miss a beat. Our account values continued to grow. They go up every year regardless of what's happening politically or economically or with interest rates. That's why we have them in the accounts that we have is we provide certainty to them. And if you look, it was phenomenal. And so there's a lot of satisfaction there from the clients. And then if you look at kind of the amount of clients that we brought on over the last year, I would say it's probably been our best year as far as new clients. And I think that uncertainty that was 2020 really started to open some people's eyes to some certain opportunities or different strategies that are out there. And so we've had a lot of clients that have came on board in the last 12 months.
From like our clients, from what I've seen, either they did really well or really not. I mean, if your business model was more tech-based and could do virtual, those businesses excelled. Like we had a client who owns a few pizza delivery places. They were killing it at the beginning, right? Because they already had the system set up to do the contactless delivery, right? But then a lot of people really got hurt. And honestly, what I found, that there were some people in the middle. I think those are mainly government employees, right? Because they're going to guarantee to get their money. But with a lot of our existing clients, we've been talking and preparing them for a recession and preparing them for inflation. So we the clients that followed our advice had liquidity. I mean, so if they were one of the ones that were struggling, they had access to some money to help support, to pay their bills. And then the ones that were killing it, they had some of the funds to even expand their business. So to us, it's very important for you to have control of your assets and being able to pivot when things happen. So, yeah, so a little mixture on the mental side. Be honest, it was tough. I was scared, worried.
Yeah.
You know, we live in Las Vegas, and in the Las Vegas, and I'm born and raised here. And I rode my bikes down the strip in the middle of the day with not a car in sight. And that was like creepy. It was cool to be able to see these buildings and to see it from that point of view. But then to be alone, it was odd. So I think a lot of people had some of the mental issues. Maybe they're not used to working from home or being isolated. I know for my wife, it was very difficult. Fortunately for us, we were considered essential. So we were still coming into the office. So for us, it wasn't that much of a difference, except for not being able to go out to eat or to kind of do some of the traveling. But fortunately for us, it actually increased our business, because what our business model is more about having control. And so people were ready, right? And just prepared for these difficult times. And really for us, since we're more kind of, you know, what we're looking for again is creating passive income. So people who lost their job or got laid off was like, you know what, I can't trust having one source of income from my employer. Exactly. I need to start putting some funds to work for me. And so even the people that really got hurt started looking for alternatives. So fortunately for us, we were in a position to help them. Yeah.
I like the fact that you guys teach about control, taking control of your finances and your money. And definitely with COVID, uncertainty has been the name of the game. And so offering a service around helping persons to navigate through that uncertainty by bringing control is phenomenal. So can you share more about the infinite banking concept? I know you guys have alluded to it several times. Let's really get into the meat of it. What essentially is it all about?
Well, what I would say at first with the infinite banking concept, it's a concept, it's a strategy. Okay. And it's not that complicated, right? If you really, you know, a lot of people make it complicated, right? But let me, Keisha, do you use a rewards credit card?
Yes, travel rewards.
I don't know if they have. Okay. Right. So you're going to buy, why put on the rewards credit card and instead of just paying cash?
Because I want the rewards.
Yeah, because you're going to buy it anyways. You add one extra step, you get some bonuses.
Yep.
Okay. If you can understand that, you can understand infinite banking. Because all we're doing is adding one extra step. And instead of that step getting miles, that extra step is going to get you more money.
Ooh.
So that's what it is in the simplest terms.
Money is better than more miles for sure. So if that's very appealing. That's very appealing. Wow. Okay. And so share with me then tips and strategies that persons can use to master their finances and do better in this post-pandemic world. Because one thing we know for sure, things will never be the same pre-COVID. So what strategies do you think persons can employ today that can really make navigating the uncertainty much better?
Yeah, what I would say is we've kind of talked about this before, but I say there's three things that kind of come to my mind. Number one would be control.
Yeah.
Right. Is you got to take control of your finances. If we learned anything over the last 12 months is that Nobody's going to do it for you, right? The stock market and everywhere else has a very high level of uncertainty that comes along with that, right? And so we've got to take control, and that means ownership. And so you've got to educate yourself on your personal finance and how this thing works. The second one that I would say would be collateralized, right? Is you want to buy assets that you are able to collateralize, which means you kind of put a small down payment to secure a very large asset.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the greatest assets that you can purchase moving forward, because if somebody's looking to create wealth over one lifetime, leverage is almost always involved. And it's either found in real estate and or a business. And so what we talk to our clients about is really looking and educating yourself in those two fields, right? Business is business, but real estate is a very large umbrella. And so what we talk to people about is we introduce them to different avenues under that umbrella of real estate that maybe suits their needs a little bit more. And the last thing that comes to mind, I would say, would be cash flow, right? Is that passive income. Is you can't rely just on one single source of income. Exactly. Yeah. And so you've got to create that passive income, that consistent monthly income every single month. And as you start to build that, right now, you've got some predictability and certainty in your life. And so those would be the three things that kind of come to my mind.
Amazing. Yeah.
What I would add is, again, as I mentioned, we follow Robert Kiyosaki a lot, and he says you're either going to do one of two things with your money. You either buy a liability or you buy an asset. And simply the definition is a liability takes money from you. Yeah. AKA like a car, trips. He'd even include your primary house, or maybe you're accumulating some debt, or you buy an asset, and an asset brings money to you. Yeah. So where that is real estate is a good one, a business, there's hard money lending. And what I'm kind of, this is long-winded, but I think your question is like what people can do. I think the first step is you got to get rid of liabilities, right? We need to live under our means. We need to learn the habit of savings. And then we start learning education. And what I think is so exciting with a lot of our clients comes like, wait a minute, there's other things that I can do to save for retirement than, well, in the United States, we have the 401k, right? Or individual retirement account. I know most countries have something similar, but you know what? And that is one way to save. But that's one way to invest. We don't think putting money in the stock market where there's a risk of losing it all is savings. That is investing, or speculating, right? Once you take that time to get those blinders off and look at really what is out there. Yesterday, I was with a client and he's like, you know what? My mind's being blown. Like, I didn't know that there was so many different ways to invest and create passive income. I'm just overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. And I said, that's great, because there are so many ways. And what I tell people is pick 2 or 3 ways. Yeah. Then start doing your due diligence, learning about it, narrow it down to one, and then you focus on that one. And then once you got that handled and you have a good understanding, then go to the one of the other 2 that you learned. But we need to start building, we need to start educating ourselves, which is great of what you're doing on this course. I think it's fantastic. People need to learn. Yeah, but more importantly than learning, you got to take action. You got to put some of the, I know you have these great speakers on here, but if you just listen to it, it's just a form of entertainment. Yeah. But once you start putting some into action, you're going to start seeing some results, and then it starts getting exciting. And oh wow, I can do this. Well, man, I can do this too. And like, for example, just one little example. we show people a lot of different ways to create passive income. But one thing we're currently doing now is we're literally buying real estate in the middle of nowhere, like no power, no electricity. Some have no roads, and we are flipping them and making, let me say, 3 to 4 times the amount of our original investment.
Oh, wow.
And I never even thought that was possible. But you know what? I took my blinders off. I started looking and researching and doing my due diligence. And now we started incorporating that. And then once we have that down, I mean, there's ways where you can have an Airbnb business without buying the property, right? You just have to control it so you can buy it or you can rent it. And now a lot of people call it arbitrage, but I never even thought that was possible, right? But there's people out there that will teach you how to do it. You just have to take the blinders off and take some action.
And Keisha, I'll add one thing there, is Anthony was right. That was long-winded.
But it was good. It was good. It was good. Because he touched on the importance of knowledge and execution. Knowledge is one thing, but if you do nothing with the knowledge, it's dead. You have to execute on it.
Well, and I would tell you, I know we have a short amount of time, but we're really excited and passionate. So trying to shove as much information
the passion is coming
to
through
help
for sure.
Help your listeners.
Yeah. What were you saying, Cameron? You had a point.
Oh, my point was just making fun of Anthony. I was just saying that his answer was long-winded, and just to, so your listeners, you know, if they don't know us, Anthony and I have known each other for a while, and so if we can take a shot at each other, we certainly will. So.
Yeah, we will take it.
So you guys have also mentioned infinite banking concept, and I know you have a special gift today for our audience, for our listeners, something that is, I believe, truly amazing. I'm wowed by it, by your very generous offer. Do you want to share that with our listeners?
Absolutely. So Anthony and I are education based, right? A little bit on our backgrounds is we both kind of came into this industry just wanting to learn it for ourselves, and then kind of out of obligation, once you learn it, you feel like you need to share it. And so that's kind of how we've approached this business model, is just on a purely educational basis. And so a lot of our information and stuff that we share and we put out there, we've assembled and put into an online course. And so typically what we do is we charge $600 for somebody if they want access to it. But as a thank you for kind of having us on here, Keisha, we wanted to extend an invitation to you. So if your listeners want to go to infinitewealthconsultants.com/recession-proof investing, that'll actually take them to a link where they will have free access to the course. So we'll extend that to them. And what they're going to find there is they're going to find kind of foundations of wealth, right? Our philosophy on how money works, the process that we take clients through to create wealth for them individually. And we've got a whole bunch of really good information in there. We've got a whole section on the infinite banking concept and the strategy and practical application. So, we'll offer that up to them as well.
And we are in the process of recording some content to discuss about Airbnb business or this raw land or getting into real estate. Like there's a lot of good information in there. So if your clients want to learn, we got some videos for you.
Awesome. That's going to be amazing. You guys are providing the knowledge. So we push everyone, then execution has to happen, right? So that's amazing for our listeners.
Exactly, yeah.
I thank you guys very much for that. It's going to be very good. Can you also share how can persons find you? Outside of the course, they're going to be doing that, but how can persons find you and engage with you?
Well, if you, we have a website, Infinite Wealth Consultants. We also, that's our, as you call it, a handle on Instagram and on Facebook. If you go to the website, there is in the lower right-hand corner a free discovery call. And what that will do is you will talk to one of our coaches, and it might even be Cameron or I, and we're going to really talk to you about really what are your goals and can we help you get there faster and with more certainty. So if they want to learn more, that would be the good first step.
Yeah, that's invaluable, because I'm sure everyone has a goal and they all want to know, how do I get there? You guys are making it possible for them. So thank you very much for your time. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of listeners reaching out to you guys, both for the course and for those discovery calls, because that's an amazing offer. I really thank you on behalf of all the listeners, and thank you for dropping the gems today. Really valuable insights on how persons can level up and find ways to earn passive income post-COVID, because you're showing us how to take control of our money in a very uncertain world. And I believe we all need that today. So thank you guys for your time. This has been amazing.
Our pleasure. Thank you, and be safe.
Thanks, Keisha.
Okay.